Hey everybody, I'm back. I'm back with another video today. Alright, so, like I explained in the last video, today I'm going to be talking about classes. Alright, the bread and butter of what a lot of people associate with D&D besides dice and rolling them. But anyways, today I'm going to be talking about the classes, starting with... Actually, yeah, I'm going to be doing this in alphabetical order. So, first one up is Artificer. Now, agua. Anyways, so, Artificer originates from the book Eberron Rising of the Last War. And this is basically your steampunk, magical tinkerer, inventor class. D&D has not seen this yet, so this was a breath of fresh air for a lot of people at this era. Anyways, so at first level, you gain magical tinkering and spellcasting. Now, spellcasting is basically a mainstay for 90% of the classes, barring rogue, fighter, and barbarian. However, even then, fighter and rogue gain subclasses that give them spellcasting, so really Barbarian is the only one that can't truly cast spells with spell slots. But I'll explain what I mean by that. Anyways, so yeah. I'll explain spellcasting in a later video, detailing the mechanics of D&D. That's probably going to be next video, just to, explain the mechanics, to explain the inner mechanics of D&D. But to keep this sweet, there are 10 types of spells you can use. 0 to 9, I know. 0, you can cast them for free, they're called cantrips. And leveled spells, you need spell slots, which basically is ammo for spells, so you can't cast all of them indefinitely. You need spell slots. You get them at certain levels, and a lot of the classes have tables to show you what those spell slots, how many you have. Now, some classes are what's called half-casters. These are rogues. These are rogues with Arcane Trickster, fighter with, I want to say, Eldritch Knight. There we go. Wizard. No, not wizards. Paladins, rangers, and artificers. They're half-casters, so they can only cast spells up to level 5, whereas other spellcasters can cast it up to level 9, which are busted. Level 9 are just crazy. Trust me. Anyways, so magical tinkering is basically you can give an item, kind of like this right here, magical properties, like say make it glow make it shine bright like a diamond, or make it smell a certain smell, or make it say a certain thing, recorded message, a sound, basically, or like a visual effect. Let's say like it's got writing on it. All right, but that's basically it. Anyways, so let's get on to level 2, infusing items. Basically, you can give non-magical objects, again, like this is my example, magical properties. Alright, so like, I don't know, say, you can make this like, have endless amount of magnetic beads sprouting from it. Alright, like that. Alright, you gain more infusions as you level up, but for the most part, you gain a certain amount of them, and you can change them out at a long rest, but that's about it. Anyways, level 3 is where most likely you will gain your subclass. Now, a lot of the classes get them at earlier levels, like level 2 or 1, but a lot of the classes get it at level 3. Artificer being one of them. Now, Artificer has 4 main subclasses that you will find official sources for, but you can find your own homebrew. I recommend you look for them. Anyways, the first one is Alchemist. Next is Armorer, Artillerist, and Battlesmith. Now, Alchemist deals with potions and making them. You get what's called an experimental elixir you can do, which causes random effects depending on what you don't choose it. All right. However, at later levels, you gain bonuses on top of that if someone drinks your experimental elixir, along with casting along with gifting you more spells you can use. You don't have to take them, but they're handy. Armorer, you can cosplay Iron Man. Basically, you can transform any set of armor you find that's non-magical. into arcane armor, which you can customize and mix match. But like I said, try to find homebrew about this. But normally for this, you gain two, which is Guardian and Infiltrator. Guardian is your strength based, which gives you more armor, gives you more health, gives you more HP, temporary hit points, and lets you hit a lot harder. Infiltrator, like the name suggests, lets you be sneaky. Like, normally when people use heavy armor, they have disadvantage on stealth checks. This takes that away, so they don't have disadvantage anymore. You gain more movement, you gain more jump height, climb height. Basically, you can move like you can move. Alright? Artillerist gives you a cannon. Enough said. It gives you a cannon. You can just spawn a cannon whenever you like, wherever you want in combat. Water. But yeah, it gives you a cannon, which is called an arcane cannon. And what this does is gives you a variety of effects depending on what type of cannon. You can basically give a ballista, a flamethrower, or a force gun, or the wind bag from Smash Brothers. That's basically the wing back from Smash Brothers, okay? It pushes people back, force damage, yada yada yada. I'll get into damage types later, but yeah, there's a variety of damage types which monsters are weak to, resistant, immune, or vulnerable, or it straight up just kills them. So yeah, that's basically it. Battlesmith, you get to make a battle companion. Basically, you make a robot dog that helps you out. Now, this robot dog can assist in combat, can basically fight alongside you. It's basically build a pet. Alright, you make a pet that battles with you however many times, or like until it's destroyed, and then you can just make a new one. But yeah, that's basically it for the official ones. Anyways, again at 3rd level you get right tool for the job, which is basically you get to spawn in Tinker's tools if you spend an hour trying to craft them. Anyways, so ability score at level 4, you gain ability score improvements. Now, what ability score improvements do is they basically let you improve your stats, basically. Now, stat blocks in D&D work as follows. Basically, you have 6 available slots, which is strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. Now, at certain levels, which for most, if not all classes, and I'll tell you which ones get in at which levels when I get to the other classes at level 8, level 4, level 8, level 12, level 16, and level 19. And what they do is you can either buff one stat by 2 points or 2 stats by 1 point. Alright, so it's kind of a trade-off. You want to specialize or do you want to generalize? Maybe get your worst, weakest stat higher. Or maybe like max out your already busted stat to get some 20. Now, you cannot exceed 20 when it comes to stat blocks. It goes from 1 to 20. 10 base meaning net negative. Basically gives you net plus 0. Now, on to level 6, which is tool expertise, which basically your proficiency bonus is now doubled. What that means is you gain a proficiency bonus, which at level 1 is level 2. So, but at level 6, I believe it bumps it up to level 3 or 4. I want to say 3. So, what? So basically, if you were to make a skill check with that, and it says double your proficiency bonus, that means instead of adding a plus 6, it's a plus. Instead of adding a plus 3, it's a plus 6 to the roll, on top of anything else you would get, like advantage, disadvantage, or help, or any bonuses. Anyways, so level 7 you get Flash of Genius. Now what Flash of Genius does is it lets you help people with your intelligence. Like say, hey, lift it with both hands and your legs. Not just one hand, please. Analogy, dumb, but it's basically what Stroke of Genius is, basically. Anyways, At level 10, you gain magic item adept, which, okay. Normally in D&D, you can only attune up to 3 magic items. Okay? However, for Artificer and at level 10, that count bumps up to 4. Along with that, if you make common or uncommon magic items with your magical tinkering, it takes a quarter of the time. So, yeah. And also costs you half the gold. Well, or half as much currency as you would be using. Anyways, spell storing item. Basically, it's like Ness and Isabel's Downbeat from Smash Brothers, where if a spell comes at you, you can just yomp and use it whenever you want. Boom. That's basically the level 11 ability. And it's any spell, like, say, Fireball, Booming Blade, Sleep, Charm Person, Greater Restoration, Banishment. You get the gist, basically. You can store the item. You can store the magic in an item and use it for later. Alright, that's the gist of what this is. Anyways, moving on to level 14, Magic Item Savant, which is just a buff, which is just a better version of Magic Item Adept. You can attune up to 5 magic items. No, you can attune up to 5 magic items, and you ignore all class, race, spell, and level requirements when attuning them. So you can basically attune with whichever magic item you want. Yeah. Alright, moving on. So, at level 18, you get to attune up to 6. Why this is important, I'm going to explain in the next one, which is the level 20 capstone ability, Soul of Artifice. Now, what Soul of Artifice does is it grants you a +1 to your 20 saving throw you're going to make, depending on a +1 depending on how many magic items you get. So, let's say you have the total of 6, you gain a +6 to any saving throws you get on top of whatever bonuses, like advantage, disadvantage, or proficiency bonuses that you would get. So let's say you get a so let's say at this you get a +6 to proficiency bonus, which I'm fairly certain is what you get at level 20. But anyway, so let's say you get a +6 on top of the +6 for that, and let's say you roll a 5. That would be 17. On a 5. Now let's say you do it at a 15. That's 27. So, TLDR, you're not failing. You're not failing whatsoever. You're not going to fail whatever you're trying to do. But anyways, so yeah, that's a level 13 ability for Artificer. Now, as I've said, Artificers are from Ebron Rising: The Last War. However, it's not necessarily a source exclusive. Basically, you can use this in your regular fantasy worlds. Talk to your DM about it, and essentially, yeah, so talk to your DM about it. Ask them if they're cool with running an Artificer, and then go nuts with guns. Anyways, so while we're on the subject of Artificers, I'm going to kind of relay some tips. Get creative with it. Also, if you want my recommendation for beginning, don't start with this class. If you're just getting into D&D, I recommend going with more simpler classes, like Bard, Barbarian, Rogue, or Ranger, just to get accustomed to the rules and then move on to more complicated stuff. Because, as fun as this game is, and while it is beginner friendly, for the love of God, please be careful with which one you start with. Because you could either start with something that will hurt your brain and you cannot micromanage. So please get more experience into D&D. But if you're going to start with this class, by all means, go ahead. I'm not telling you not to, but just be prepared. There's a lot that you need to remember. Okay? Okay, so that's it for this. Next one is going to be Barbarian. Stay tuned for that, and I'll see you guys hopefully whenever I come back. Yay! Anyways, じゃあね